Let's go!
We are here
Woo!
again, Vanessa.
Yes!
I'm so excited.
Welcome, girls, to the Omina Collective podcast, where we discuss literally everything from sexuality, finances, pleasure, sisterhood, community, everything that's important for a woman in her life.
Yeah. And I think there is no less important topic to talk about than your cycle. So this is something that is so, so important. And from my perspective, I only really started looking at my cycle 3 to 4 years ago. And having this view of your cycle, your hormones, your mood, how it affects your work, there's nothing more important, right, in the female experience. And it's so, so, so,
100%.
so different for everyone. So as we are joining here today, Vanessa and I, we looked at our apps and we're both, like our tracking apps, we're both early with our period. So we're both on our menstruation, our period.
Yep.
And both early.
Yeah.
So this
It
also
was a surprise, let's say. Yesterday, I was like, what is this?
For me
I
too.
wasn't expecting
I
this.
was 4 days early and my cycle is usually very, regular. So it's, being 4 days early is a big thing for me. And I think in this context also, we get to give ourselves some grace because this is usually not the time where you go on camera and you present yourself in the best time and you just, you go inward. So I think we get to just be with that for a while and say, hey, we're showing up because we made a commitment, but so important to to feel into your body and being like, okay, you know what? It's okay. We're on a very vulnerable phase, which can be a very great phase as well. It's not just bad. We're going to talk about all the phases, but this phase is inward looking. So if you're on your menstruation, on your period, or the luteal phase, which is also called, then you're going inward more, right? We're going to talk about all of this. And I'm so, so happy that you're here, Vanessa. Thank you for showing up and in this time with me, and I'm so happy to start and to jump right in.
Yeah, girl, I'm so happy as well to be here every week with you. And how crazy, because we had this idea to talk about the menstruation, our cycle, because it is so important and there's still so much to learn for us women in our life in the society to look at this topic as well. And now it's so crazy that we're both on our period when we want to record this. So I actually kind of love it. And I feel like this is also a sign for us that this is the exact right time to talk about this, because we, really feeling this right now and seeing this also as a gift, not as this is something, I don't want to call it disgusting, but, some people really, it's so negative connotated still here and there. And I really want to change this, to look at this as something that this is something beautiful and something so powerful for us women, and to be in love with this and to embrace our cycle.
Yeah.
To embrace all the phases we are going through, and exactly what you said as well. Use the time to go inwards and to just allow yourself to rest. Oh my God. This morning I was also like, I booked a yoga class and I didn't sleep that much, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going. I'm just gonna take it slow today, do a slow morning. Maybe I'm going for a walk later, maybe a bit of stretching or something like that.
Yeah.
But just taking it slow and giving myself the permission to take it slow as well, right?
That's a big one.
It's so huge. It's so huge. So yeah.
Okay,
I'm so excited.
Me too. I'm like, oof. I feel it now, I feel the energy rising and coming. So I always have this with you. But I want to start, Vanessa, and let's start with a breath.
Yes.
But I want to start with a question to you. And, when did you first start to really pay attention to your cycle, and how did that actually shift the way you are living your life now, how you're working, how you're, being in this world? So maybe you can take us back to that moment or that time in your life.
Yeah. Thank you for the question, my love. For me personally, it's a very long story, let's say, of also gaining my cycle back. When I was younger, I really need to go back in time here to tell all the story. and to tell the whole story, to understand where I'm coming from, let's say. So when I was younger, I always had this feeling that I'm not fast enough in like growing up into a woman. Like all my friends were starting to get their periods, and I was like, I'm 15 and I'm like, I don't have my period yet. Everyone else has their period already. I was like, is something wrong with me? What's going on? I had my first boyfriend and it was like, I was starting to think about like sex and all these things, but I haven't had my period yet. I talked to my mom about it and she was like, yeah, for me, it was also a little bit, it took longer, let's say. Then I went to the gynecologist. And just because I wanted to talk about it, just to, hey, is there something wrong with me? And she was like, you know what? You just take the pill and the period will come. And when I think about this now, I'm actually getting very angry and upset because I didn't know it better. And she just said, just take the pill and the period will come. And of course, yeah, I had the period after, but it's not the natural one, right? It's like a period where it's like we call it in German Abbruchsblutung. I don't know what it's called in English. Do you know it?
Good question. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, but it's like when you don't, like this little pause in between the pills, right? And then you have your period, let's say. But it's not like the real one from your body, right? So yeah, I started to get my period, let's say. And then I felt like, yeah, oh my God, I'm a woman now. But not really. And then I started to think about, okay, I want to reduce my hormone intake, and I had some issues, fluctuation with my weight and emotion. You're going through so many things when you are younger. And I also had an internal battle with myself, really being insecure about my body and wanted to fit right in and be beautiful and lose weight to be perfect and liked, and just definitely messed with my body and with my hormones a lot. I stopped using the pill when I was 17 and I got the IUD for the first time. But I didn't get my period when I was on it or I had it inside of me. At that point, I was like, you know what? Nice. I'm not getting my period. I didn't even thought about it. I wasn't really connected or paying attention, to be honest. I was just like in this, in this masculine word, to be honest, just functioning and not listening to my body and just trying to be perfect, to look good and to kind of prove something or whatever. Even though I was so disconnected from myself with this journey of getting to know myself better, finding yoga for myself, and then all of a sudden starting to listen to my body. Oh my God, I was like, shit, I need to change something here. And then I went on this journey of, okay, I'm going to remove the IoT to give my body a break and to just let my body be and see how it's going. And it really took me a while to get my period back. It was like a year until I got my period. And I also must say that I really focused on not having too much stress in my life, not doing excessive workouts, all these things. I really slowed down in this whole period, and I really tried to nourish my body in the best way possible, because I also was too much underweight. I gained a lot of weight over this period, but actually it was the best thing that could ever happen to me, because my body just needed to come to this weight and to this security, because I was in survival mode before. So my body didn't feel safe enough to produce life,
Wow.
So it was very interesting for me personally. And I went on this whole journey to get my period back and to feel my feminine energy again and to feel this power rising again and to make peace with my body as well. And not being a child, let's say, but embracing the body of a woman and the cycle, and like to embrace curves and all these things. I was so caught up in beauty standards and being thin and doing sports and whatever, but really, okay, what does my body really need? And this is what I learned through this whole process, also with yoga. Really listen to my body, and then removing all the hormones and coming back to this natural state, because our body knows the way. and it's so intelligent. And when you start to listen, it changes everything. So it's a long story, and it's just scratching the surface, but just a little background story where I'm coming from and where I am now. So it's like, okay, I went through this whole journey of getting my period, actually, and I haven't had it for years and years, and I didn't even thought about it. And it's crazy to me, even that my gynecologist was always like, yeah, don't worry, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, actually, this is not natural, to be honest. This is not natural. Something is wrong. And yeah, I wanted to change something about it, because I wanted to have my cycle, because I know it's a sign that your body is healthy. And now every time I'm getting my cycle, I'm like, yes, celebration! She's here again. And it's just so beautiful, and I'm so thankful. So yes, I feel the most connected to my femininity, to my body, also to my sexuality, like the pleasure that I have now, like inviting the pleasure. And it's crazy how everything changed, like thinking about children, all these things changed 180 through getting my period. It's crazy. It's so crazy.
Wow. While you were saying the story, so many times I got goosebumps and my whole body was reacting.
Oh my God.
And I just want to celebrate you, because I think, and we're going to be talking about cycle a lot.
Yes.
I feel in this podcast, with your friend Louisa also, but
yes,
we're gonna talk about it a lot. So it's totally fine that we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
And I want to celebrate you, because I think, you took that step and said, hey, this is not for me. I'm going to remove what doesn't feel good to me, and what other people have said is okay, but for me doesn't feel good. Yes. And I'm going to go on this journey. And it takes a lot of courage,
Yeah, it's scary, to be honest.
It's scary to be like, this is your journey, right? Getting your period back. And like, I think a lot of women can resonate with that, being like, hey, I don't have my period right now. I feel shame, maybe guilt. Like, I don't feel like a woman. You see women around you talk about, it's such a thing right now to talk about your cycle, right?
Yes.
And then if you don't have it, it feels like you're not a woman, not a real woman, right? So yeah, I think a lot of women listening today will really resonate with this.
Yeah, I think so too. And this is also why I wanted to share this, and why I wanted to talk about it with you as well, because it's such an important topic. And as you said, also so much surrounded by shame and also ignorance. Like, I was ignoring it for years, to be honest. I was ignoring it. I was ignoring signs from my body. And just, no, I don't need to think about this. It's nice to not have my period. I mean, I can do everything, whatever I want, and I'm just gonna be, every day is the same. But it's not like it. We are not designed like this. We are not designed like a man. We have a 28-day cycle, and every day is different. And I think this is so important to acknowledge and to take care of your body and your health. This is the most important thing, because as I said before, your cycle is a sign that your body feels safe and is healthy enough to have this fertile ground, right? To produce life.
Yeah.
Like, how amazing is that? Yeah. Like, how amazing is the female body? Like, wow.
And also, I think I want to go back to this and being like,
yes,
when you're in your menstruation, right? I think for the longest time, a lot of us women and the women around us, it was always, even in the marketing messaging that you would see from everywhere, it's like, power through. You have your period, no problem, power through. You have a big presentation, but you're on your period, let's go. I think for me and my journey, it's shifted a couple of years ago, where I was like, wait, a period is not something to just power through to get over, but to actually slow down and embrace.
Yes.
And for me in the beginning, that was scary. I don't know how it was for you, but I was so used to just powering through. Then I did a cycle coaching to look at my cycle, and that it was scary in the beginning. I was like, okay, wait, that means I need to make some changes. I need to rest. What if I have a big presentation? What if I have to go to a meeting? What if and you can also eat certain things that help you with your health. Like, I mean, where in life were we taught about cycle health with food? What you need, you're losing blood. You're losing, a lot of women lose a lot of blood, so you
Exactly.
need iron-rich foods,
Mm-hmm.
which is very good for your health, right?
Yeah.
So starting to look at that, and I don't know how it was for you, but for me it was scary. I was like, this is now another thing I need to relearn.
Yes. Yeah, because we never got
Yeah.
taught how to do it.
Yeah.
When in school did we learn about it, to be honest? No one talked about this. It was more like a shame. And when a girl had maybe then blood on her butt, for example, everyone was like, ha 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 ha. And I'm like, my God, this is so crazy. And also in biology, when we talked about sexuality or things like that, it's just like such a tiny, unimportant topic somehow that is somehow, yeah, we don't really
Yeah.
need to talk about this. And also, yeah, you could talk about it with your mom maybe, but also the knowledge of the generations is also not very, very good, to be honest. And even I went to the gynecologist and she studied this, like she studied the female body. And she told me all these crazy things, and I'm like, excuse me, this whole system is kind of,
Yeah.
I'm really questioning all of this. And I look at it more from a holistic perspective,
Yeah.
let's say, right? Like really coming back to nature
Yeah.
and getting back the power and changing the education about it. So it's so cool that you, for example, did this course to learn more about this cycle. And I feel like this is so important that young girls especially learn about their cycles and that this is something beautiful and not something that you need to be ashamed of, that this
Yeah.
is something powerful and that you can have the most amazing, powerful weeks of creation and you are bursting out of energy. But then you also have phases where you're more going inwards. You can reflect. You can take rest to recharge again. And
Yeah.
how beautiful is this cycle actually? Like nature in general. Nature is also a whole cycle, right? And embracing this.
It's so, so important. And one thing I want to share, what I learned from my
Yes.
cycle coaching,
Yes,
and I would
please.
always recommend to read the book that's called The School of Blood. It's so important to look at your menstruation phase. So we go through right from day 1 to day 5, that's your menstruation. And then you go from 6 to like, I think 11, that's your follicular phase, 6 to 13 actually. Then you go into your ovulation, which is your highest energy, right? And this is where you have peak confidence. You feel like you're most yourself. And
Yes.
that's like the ovulation. And then you go into the luteal, so your hormones drop again. But what I wanted to say about the menstruational phase, which is, that phase 1 to 5 days usually in, I started to look at it as a teacher. So really say all my high energy ideas, my high energy, vibrations, because you get really creative in your follicular phase, right? So all of this, I will look at it in my menstruational phase and I will bleed on it. So that's a term that women are using now to be like, this is a wisdom, this is a guide. So you have a new relationship, bleed on it. You have a new work assignment, you have a new idea, bleed on it.
Yeah.
You want to change countries, change something, bleed on it, right? And it's so, so, so important to use this wisdom that we have in ourselves and really, really use our cycle as a teacher, because she is not in such a high energy. She's more in like the neutral, like low energy vibrations in the deep.
Yeah,
So she can tell you, is this a good idea?
definitely.
Does this feel right? So it's such an important phase. And once I started to understand that, I was like, okay, this is a teacher. She's here to teach us. Yeah.
Exactly.
And one more thing I wanted to ask or add, and then I'll ask you a question, how women can start with their cycle journey. But one thing I wanted to add is that the cycle is so much bigger than just reproduction, right?
100%.
So much bigger. So much bigger.
100%. Oh my God.
So I actually got into it. A lot of women get into the cycle, I guess, journey through reproduction, right? They know, okay, I don't want to have a child right now.
Yes.
So this is what I do, X, Y, Z. But if you look behind that and you see your cycle as a teacher, as an energy source, giver and taker, as a creative source, as just this inspiration, this womanhood, this like female, 28 to 30
Yes.
day wave, then it's so, so, so much more. And it can influence all the areas of your life. So yeah, that's what it's so, so, so important. And this brings me to my question to you, Vanessa, because I think a lot of women will be hearing this and they say, how do I get started? I know I should look at my cycle, but it's scary. I don't know how. And what would you say to these women? What is like the first step that made you also help to get started to look at your cycle journey more?
Yeah, I mean, it depends also where you're standing right now, right? If you have your period, if you have pain, for example, and all these things, or if you are not having your period, right? It can also be that you don't get your period. And I think, first of all, it's in general really looking at all the factors in your life that causing you stress, right? Because also having pain on your period is not really natural as well. Of course, we have sensations in the body, yes, but like really painful, like really this insane pain, I don't think that this is actually natural, to be honest. And there are like so many factors in your life that can influence this, right? And give you all these sensations in your body. So I would look at your life. And for me personally, it was because I came from a place where I didn't have my period. So I looked at my life and was like, oh my God, okay, I have so many things in my life that stress me out. And my body was highly stressed all the time of like, first of all, I needed to do things. Then I tried to lose weight all the time. Like, oh my God, I'm not perfect enough. I need to be fitter. I need to do more sports. I need to eat less. All these things, stress for your body. Oh my God. And then pushing through all the time, like not resting at all and blocking all the emotions, just being in this masculine world, functioning all the time. So I think really looking at your life circumstances, okay, what am I really doing right now? Day to day, how are my days structured? Am I feeling stress? Am I taking rest as well? How do I nourish my body? Do I eat properly? Eating properly is so important, and also the way you work out is so important. And I think really looking at the stress factors in your life. How much stress do you have? And then start from there. And then also try to look inwards, to feel your body again. For me personally, it was yoga, for example. Stepping on the yoga mat, connecting with my body, coming out of the head into my body to feel all the sensations again and to really listen, okay, do I need to have rest now? Do I need rest? Or do I have energy to do things? Even though I didn't have my cycle, you can still feel the body moving through cycles, even though you're not on your period right now. You can still try to have this intuition, and eventually it will come. And I understand women who still want to, of course, use the pill because it's protection. But I also would question this, to be honest. Do you really want to use the pill, or is there another way to protect? So this is definitely also a point I would recommend to look at. I'm not a doctor. I'm speaking out of my own experience. I don't want to recommend anything, but just out of my own experience and how I felt my body changing. And I would really look at all the circumstances that are in your life right now and really every aspect. And if you, for example, don't have your period, okay, am I stressed? Do I work out a lot? Do I push through all the time? Do I nourish my body enough? Like these things, so important. And also when you are on your period, but you have a lot of pain and it's super heavy and all these things breaking out all the time, I think it's also connected to stress, to working out, to nourishment. Because as you also said, there are phases and you can support yourself and your body, your cycle with nourishing food with, for example, what you also said in your menstruation, eating, for example, red meat if you eat meat, but something with iron, for example,
Yeah.
right? Or beetroot or whatever, right? There are different kinds of foods to support your body, to nourish your body. And this is how it would start.
Yeah. So I think that's such a good point. What you were saying is it always starts with awareness.
Yes.
Just the simplest step.
Yes.
What feels good for me right now? And what little adjustment can I make? You know, for me, it started to be like, okay, I'm going to see now that I just started to track my cycle with my phone. I said, okay, starting this, I didn't do it before, starting it now. And then I realized, okay, well, I have my menstrual phase in these days. Let me just see if I can slow down a little. I don't have to go from 100 to 0, but just a little. Can I take 1 or 2 meetings out? Like 1 or 2, it became so in my brain. My friend asked if we can meet next week, but I know I'm going to be on my period probably. So can I say maybe a week after?
Yes.
So just these small little things, and starting to talk to other women about it. Like, women, wow. Like, I started to open up with my girlfriends and I said, hey, what are you doing? What has helped you? Sometimes I would just call a friend. I was like, oh, I have my period today and I'm not feeling great. Just the talking about it with other women is so healing. So healing. And also, if you're in a relationship, to start to talk with your partner about it. Like, so he knows, right? He knows where you are on. Like,
it's
where are you?
So important, because you can be emotional. I'm telling you, yesterday I was questioning everything.
Me too.
My whole life I was like, oh my God, here we go again. And I was like, what is going on? Because I didn't know that my period is coming, because it was so early. I really came early today. I'm still on this journey to have really my constant cycle. It's a journey, let's say, right? But yesterday I was like, Jesus Christ, what's going on here again? Really, I was emotional. I'm dating someone. I was questioning everything. Does he even like me? We don't have a connection anymore. Like, I don't. And then after we saw each other again, it was so intimate and all these things. And then I went to the toilet and I saw, okay, I have blood in my panties. I was like, aha. Here we go. This is why. And I was like, oh man. And then I was telling him, yeah, you know what? Like, I'm on my period. And he's like, hey, it was so sweet, you know? Just like speaking about it, because it's so important, because all of a sudden your hormones are, sometimes you're like crazy up there and question everything.
Exactly. And I think it's exactly my experience as well. So I think we're syncing with our cycles.
Yes,
but
girl.
The same for me. I felt like I was going through this deep realization, transformation, and questioning everything. And I always think the highest high, where you feel peak ovulation, you feel, wow, you know, you can really just do everything.
Yes.
Is not
self-confidence.
Yeah, exactly. But not your real you. But also the lowest part is not your real you, right? When it's like all these doubts, all these different emotions, that's also not the real you. So to kind of understand that a little, to be like, hey, at my highest high, okay, you know, this is great. Let me enjoy it. But when I'm low again, I'm like, okay, I'm here, but let me, you know, go up a little again. It's all part of the process. Yes. And actually, I always say we have this hormonal up and down as a woman, but our soul, like the person who's behind all of that, behind of all of the emotions, the observer, that stays constant, right? That energy is constant. But because we are in this human and these female bodies, we get to experience ups and downs with emotions. Yes. And men actually also do get to experience that. They just have it more on a 24-hour cycle with their testosterone levels. But behind all of this, it's the observer. And for me, it's helped so much to be like, here we go again. Okay, I know this. This is it, you know. Okay, I'm a couple of days early. Okay, you know, this explains it a little. Okay, what can I do to slow down, to not take it too serious, to also talk to my partner about it, my friends about it. But I'm actually the person, the observer, the energy behind all of this. That's helped me a lot.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I think this is so important. And also what you said, in this phase, surrounding yourself also by community and sisters, so they can remind you as well. They like, girl, don't make any decisions right now. No. Wait a few days. It was so interesting because Anna and I, we also sat on the couch like 2 weeks ago and we had our periods also together. And it was so interesting. And we were both sitting there doubting everything. And then we were like, but girl, you know we're on our periods, right? Yeah, you're right. You're so right. Let's talk about this in 4 days.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. And then we sat together again and we were like, I just feel totally different now. I see it from another perspective, but in this phase, sometimes your hormones, yeah, it's just a phase. So it's good to definitely talk about this with your friends, with your partner, to have a mirror and say like, hey, it's fine. Take rest, look inside and take care of you. And as you said, right, it's also a journey of allowing yourself to slow down, because in this world, sometimes it is hard in this period to slow down and to give yourself the grace, right, to let go.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a 9 to 5 job and you aren't really flexible. But maybe you can say like, hey, I want to work from home at that day or whatever. Try to do little adjustments that supports your cycle. So to de-stress in this environment and to allow yourself to take rest as well. So important.
So important.
I think I want to
Yeah.
talk a little bit also about your experience. How was it for you growing up as a little girl? Like, how was it for you to have your period for the first time? Because I know for you it's different. You have
Yeah.
a very different journey compared to mine. And I would love for you to share about that a little.
Yeah. So for me, I got my period when I was 12. And actually, now that I think about it was on July 4th. So
You
4th of
even know
July.
the
Yeah,
date.
I
This is so
remember.
beautiful.
I don't know the date, exactly if it was 2005 or 6 or something like that. But I remember I was 12 and it was July 4th. And why I remember was because actually it was very sweet. My father, it's also the American
Yes.
Independence Day, right? So he came with a bouquet of flowers and it was very sweet. You're a woman now. He tried to, I grew up with my sister and my mom, so it was very, I would say, like womanish in our house, right? And then he wanted to kind of be a part of that. And, it was just showing us the flowers and it was really sweet. Yeah.
So sweet. Oh my God.
But to be honest, it was a journey also of discovering for myself. I also went on the pill quite young because I had a boyfriend. It was the baby pill, they called it, so very mild. But I mean, looking back now, I thought, oh, this is what you have to take every day. But if you think about it, you only have a fertile window of 5 to 6 days, right? And you're taking hormones every day for that. So I think for me, it started to shift in university. I was like, wait a minute, like I've been taking it for 7 years now, like so long. Let me just see what my body is without. And I remember I still remember this to this day. I think it was 2016, 17. It was in February. I stopped the pill. I was on exams basically for my university. And there was no awareness at all what that would do to my hormones. So I actually was crying a lot. I was going into a depressive phase. I remember my mom came to visit and I was like, I don't know what's wrong. I was all over the place. And then I started to realize I was a month or two in. I was like, wait, the one thing I changed was I stopped taking the pill. So I Googled what happens if you stop taking the pill. And a lot of women say they go into a depressive phase because your hormones just drop radically and you have to realign. So, I mean, I knew nothing about this. I was just doing it. Nobody told me, like nobody. And then I was natural for a long time and was learning my cycle through that, but still pushing through, using tampons, not really having an awareness. Let me just see what I can do to push through. And then it started to change when I did the cycle coaching. I was like, I want to know what my cycle is.
Why did you decide to do the cycle training?
Because I heard a lot that there was wisdom to be learned from women, and I was like, I want to know. I don't know anything about my cycle. I didn't track anything. I remember my mom always said, you need to track and, just track your cycle. I'm like, I didn't track anything. So I started with an app first, then started to look at different platforms online to see what are the different phases. I started to learn about, oh, okay, so it's just a 5-day window. And then other than that, hormones go up, this one goes down, all these things.
Yes.
And I found a great woman, Charlotte, actually, and she helped me really to, like, we did a whole month of coaching. She looked at my cycle exactly in these windows when we would go through it. She said,
Mm-hmm.
now you're in this phase. Now you're going to feel this. Now you're going to feel that. And it really was such a game changer. And then that was the same time I started to be self-employed. Right.
Mm.
So I could choose. I was like, okay, this is the perfect time. I can choose. My cycle will be then. I won't do any big client meetings on that day. I was very strict in the beginning, very, this is what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel like I just know. It's like more of a knowing.
You're so much more in tune with your body, your
Exactly. I don't need to
intuition.
have rules anymore. I don't
Yes,
need to be
no.
like, this and this. I can't do anything other than that. Or I only have to eat this, or I only have to do that. I feel like I'm in the supermarket and I know more intuitively. I'm okay, this is what I need now. Right. And if I have a craving, I will go for it. So that's my journey. It's been, I would say, a journey of learning, unlearning,
Mm-hmm.
and talking a lot about it. Also, a
Yes.
big game changer for me was to open up to my partners about it, to say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I would always hide it, even like the blood, or, I was not comfortable with that. And actually, when I started to be more open, I had amazing partners who said, no, I don't mind your bleed. Bleed. It's not a thing. And I'm like, ah, it was so shocking for me in the beginning. It was so shocking. They didn't mind seeing blood, or I was always hiding it a bit and didn't show a tampon, didn't show that I
Yeah.
was using something. When I had a spot in my underwear, I felt a bit ashamed. Now I'm
Yes.
like, "Oof, no, this is part of it." And
Exactly.
to also have men actually show up for you that way is so beautiful. And I think once you're owning it for yourself, they're like, no, this is natural, and
And they
also like,
also see it as
they
something
also
beautiful,
see it as
actually.
beautiful. Yeah. If they know also, I think there's such an awareness now that they need to know their partner's cycle. They're like, oh yeah, you're in this phase, and they know you then more. And it's so
Yes.
nice. And yeah, so it's such a nice experience to have that.
For sure. I think it's so healing
Yeah.
as well, because coming from more like a shameful place, right? And then talk about it with your partner, and your
Yeah.
partner is so loving about it and is like, hey, embrace it all. And it's not disgusting or shameful at all. I love you the way you are, and I find it actually super hot, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think it's also what I said, it's your body is healthy. You want to make babies. I mean, this is a sign from your body, and I think men are attracted to that as well.
You're so right.
It's so
You're so
crazy.
right. And men find it very attractive. They really do.
Yes.
They find
Yes.
it, as you were saying, just like this is the female energy that they don't
Mm-hmm.
have. And they
Exactly.
radiate towards it, right? So,
Yes.
yeah.
And I found it so,
Yeah.
so healing. And with my journey as well, also getting older and having more experience, be more open about it, and so many beautiful experiences now where I'm like, wow, this really healed my soul in this area. I never felt that loved, and oh my God, even though I was bleeding, but he embraced it all, and he was like, you look beautiful, and this is
Mm,
amazing, and
mm,
you don't need to hide it, and please let it go and embrace it all. And it
mm.
was it was just wow, so so beautiful. So also coming back, like opening up again and again, right? It's nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to hide. Let's embrace it even more. Let's embrace our cycles. Let's embrace being a woman. I mean, hey, bring it on. Bring it on, girls. And embrace our cycles, embrace our female bodies. You're beautiful the way you are. You
Yeah.
don't need to change anything. And I think this is so important. Just bringing the awareness back to your body, looking inside, and really with whatever practices, like through your meditation, breath work, or dancing, just feeling yourself, feeling your femininity, and feeling your body, and bringing the awareness inwards. This can change so, 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 so much. And being more in tune with your cycle. And I think there are also other ways to enjoy having sex and still have safe sex, right? So you don't necessarily take the pill or take hormones. And I think this is also very important, that there is another way that is more
Yes.
natural, right?
Yes. Yes. And if you're open and ready for it, it can be the right thing for you, right?
Yeah,
It's not the right thing for every woman at every
exactly.
stage,
Yes.
but if it is, it's so beautiful to like just go back to your natural cycle.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to talk about, because you barely touched it, but because a lot of women still using tampons, and me
Yeah.
included here and there, because it's just so convenient. But what else is out there
Yeah.
to use for our beautiful periods? And what can we use?
Wow, it's such a nice topic, and I think the fact that over the years it's changed the awareness is that tampons actually have a lot of chemicals in them, right?
Hmm.
So your female parts, especially in this part, are very sensitive, and you can actually inhale or absorb a lot of these chemicals. And not to say that tampons are bad. I still use every now and then. I have
Hmm.
one or two, but I must say for me it's really shifted more to cups
Hmm.
and also panties that can actually support that, right? So
Yes.
to have lining that is super absorbent.
Hmm.
And you have now, I remember I think I ordered my first ones 2 or 3 years ago, and they were really, you know, they were big. uh, like I remember one of
Sexy.
yeah, exactly. But now they actually make them really nice. So you can
Yes.
get really good ones. So
Yeah.
panties
Yeah.
that are super absorbent but still look nice.
Hmm.
And I think the cup, I know a lot of women doesn't work for everyone. That's totally fine because it really depends on your anatomy. Are you also
Hmm.
okay with doing it? And but if it does work for you, I can recommend it. It has worked for me. So to just give it a try, like
Yeah.
to see is there something, it's just silicone based, so it's nothing chemical. Is there something that I can use? The same with the panties, they're usually
Hmm.
cotton, or
Yes.
sometimes they can also be nylon, but to just see, is this something that
Hmm.
works for me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I feel like for me personally, I also do a combination of everything a little bit,
Yeah.
because it still depends when I'm going out there and I know I'm going to move a little bit. I don't want to risk it, let's say, that I'm still using a tampon, but I
Yeah.
know, okay, when I'm the whole day at home, I just wear these panties and just let it flow, because it's so beautiful to let
Mm.
everything like naturally release, and there's
Hmm.
nothing stuck inside of you to block the energy flow, right? So it's
Yeah.
also this releasing all what's old and no longer serves you, and without blockage or
Mm.
something, to be able to build something
Yeah, and I
new.
think that's so good. Thank you for saying that. I think in that phase also you release all this, you're shedding, you're releasing all this energy. So to just let it flow, let it go.
Yeah.
I think back in the days, women would go into bleeding huts, it was called, and they would just let, the blood flow into the earth. And I think,
Hmm.
I know not, we can't, we're modern women, we can't do that necessarily. Maybe you can, but maybe you
Hmm.
can't. But there are still ways these days to do it in a more conscious way. So
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
And I think this is so beautiful that you have other options, and just to
Yeah.
try it out. I also started just recently, like with using the cup, for example, as well. And I'm still a bit on like,
Yeah.
yeah, getting to know this thing, because do I like it? I don't know yet, but just trying it out here and there.
Yeah.
And I also feel like it's kind of beautiful to just see your blood in this cup. It's like, wow,
Hmm.
kind of really looking at it, it's just like, my God. And wow, it's just so amazing to me. I'm like, we women, we are amazing,
Yeah, that's actually
incredible
a good point.
human beings. Like, really looking at this blood inside.
You don't see it that much when you're using a tampon, but if you see
Exactly.
it in a cup, you're like,
Hmm.
wow, this is beautiful. This is
For
my
me,
blood.
yeah, this
Yeah.
was like almost a spiritual encounter. I don't know. It was like, oh my God, it was just amazing.
Yeah. Hmm.
So
This
yeah,
is good.
I love this topic.
I feel like this is not the first time we're going to talk about it. We already said about
Yes.
this in the beginning, but I think this is only the start, only the
Hmm.
beginning.
Yes.
And let's continue to talk to other women about this. Like, we're going to have
Yes.
guests on this podcast. Us too,
Yes.
we're going to go deeper as well,
Yes.
because it is such a big topic. And
Yeah.
I just want to take the moment and say thank you to us that we did this while we were both on our period and feeling a little bit more like, you know,
Well, I felt
And
it was such a soft and loving energy still. I
yeah,
was like, oh my God, I feel so soft, but still so open and vulnerable, especially because you're also on your period and I feel your energy so much. Yes.
yeah, me too. I felt it was safe and soft
Mm-hmm.
and not too much, not to be too much out there where you're overextending, but just being like,
Yeah.
I'm, you
Yes.
know,
I love
yeah.
this.
Oh, this is
Yeah, my
great.
love. I love it. This was such a beautiful conversation. And yeah, girls, if you have questions, if you have comments, if you want to share your story or have any insights, let us know. Really, we want to learn together, to grow together. And this is just us sharing from our experience. We really want to make this podcast as much knowledgeable in a way
Yeah.
as possible
And
to just
valuable
and exactly
for you.
valuable. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
valuable.
valuable as possible for you girls and just for everyone out there to just learn and grow together. And yeah, I think this was such a important topic to talk about. Just a little bit our background stories, just how we went through it, our journeys, tips and tricks, and just the surface. And there's
Yeah.
so much more
And we
to.
hope it was a little bit of an inspiration for you
Yes, yes,
to not be ashamed, to have a look at your
yes.
cycle and to start to talk to your friends, to your family, to your partners. It's an important topic. So,
It
and
is.
we're here for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. We are here. So
Mm.
please reach out if you want to. If you want to talk to us, we are
Yeah.
always there. I would say see you next week.
See you next week.
Ah,
Thank you.